All right, so we're ready to invest. We've got our emergency fund. We have our high interest debt taken care of. We have our income and our expenses mapped out. We're ready to allocate some of that income for our future, to build up wealth for our future. And there's so many different investment vehicle types out there, and a lot of them have acronyms. Our industry just loves acronyms for some reason. So where do you start? And I'm going to go through all of the different types of accounts and what they could possibly be used for and who they could benefit. So let's get started. Hey everybody, if I haven't met you yet, my name is Bill Drexler and I'm a certified financial planner. And actually, after thinking about it for a little bit, I think we're going to make this video a two-parter. The first part here is going to be workplace retirement plans and then investment vehicles. And then the next part is going to be non-workplace investment vehicles. So let's just go ahead and get started. So the first one is the 401k, which I'm sure a lot of folks have heard of and a lot of companies offer. So these are retirement vehicles that are specifically designed for that goal of retiring. And as such, they kind of lock it behind a 10% penalty if you go to take it out early. So many companies, both large and small, and you can even be a single employer and offer it, will offer these plans as an incentive to attract workers and talent to come to them and bless them with that vehicle. And oftentimes they'll include a match. So these plans have payroll deduction that an employee can defer a portion of their income away from themselves to that, and they can invest it how they see suitable. And most plans today offer the option of either traditional, which is tax deferred, or Roth, which is go ahead and tax me now, but then let's not tax the growth if certain conditions are held. So what makes 401ks such a really attractive option is the fact that many companies will offer a match to their employees. And why do they do this? Well, they do receive a tax deduction for it, of course, but also it's a way to retain and reward key employees. So next up is the 403b, which acts very similar to a 401k, except a 403b is an employer plan that works for nonprofits. So a nonprofit, let's think of a school district. My wife is a teacher. The school board offers a payroll deduction option to go into a 403b. Nonprofit hospitals, churches, and other tax-exempt entities can also offer the plans. And they typically don't have a match, but the benefit of immediately taking contributions out of income has a psychological impact where it's kind of like I don't see it, it just happens, I'm not spending it on coffee or something, and it just goes right into your investment, and it creates a great habit of automatically investing. Next up is the 457. So a 457 is very similar to 401k and a 403b. They are tax-advantaged workplace retirement vehicles, but these are for state and local government employees. And the big difference is in the contribution rules and the distribution rules. So with a 457, if you're over 50, you can actually make what's called a double catch-up, where if there are years that you did not contribute, you can go back and contribute for those years. So that's pretty cool. Check your plan to see if that is allowed in there. And then finally, under some circumstances, if you're over 50 and you retire early, you can actually escape the 10% penalty that other plans would assess if you take money out of there prior to being 59 and a half, which is pretty cool. Next up is a simplified employer pension, or a SEP, an S-E-P. So a SEP is a type of IRA, an individual retirement account or arrangement, which I'm actually going to talk about in the next video. So that a SEP allows employers to contribute retirement funds on behalf of themselves and for their employees. And it's typically seen with smaller companies that don't want to have the higher cost of setting up a whole 401k, for example. And so the contributions can either be traditional or Roth based on the plan itself. And you can contribute either the lesser of 25% of your income or $66,000 for 2023, and I think it's $69,000 for 2024. And the rub is, whatever percentage that you contribute for yourself, you must then contribute for everybody. And everybody that is eligible. And the eligibility rules are they have to be 21, they have to work for your business the last 3 to 5 years, and they have to have received at least I think it was $750, which is a lower limit to qualify. Continuing on in the vein of a SEP, there is a SIMPLE IRA, and that stands for a Savings Incentive Match Plan for Employees. And this employer retirement plan is another plan that really works great for smaller-ish, medium-sized businesses, again, that don't want to have the high cost of a 401k. So in this plan, employees can contribute tax-deferred contributions up to $16,000 in 2024. And that's if they earn $5,000 in the last 2 calendar years and they're expected to earn the same amount this year. And employers, they can choose to make non-elective, meaning that the employee doesn't actually have to contribute themselves, a non-elective contribution of 2%, so it happens automatically. So if an employer wants to contribute and they're like, oh, but John over there is not in a position to contribute himself, he needs all the income, they can choose a non-elective 2% contribution, but then they have to do it for everybody. And the other option is that they can do a dollar-for-dollar matching of an employee's contributions, so that they do have to contribute then, and that's 3% of their salary. And it's a fantastic option for an employer looking to help save for their retirement, bless their employees, but they don't want to spend the higher fees of a 401k. Finalizing our workplace plans, we have a TSP, or a thrift savings plans. I'm actually not going to spend time on this because I already did a whole nother video on TSPs, and I'll link it right there. All right, that kind of rounded out our conversation about workplace retirement plans. Again, that I just scratched the surface. I could spend hours talking about each and every single one of those, which I know you don't want me to do. But take a look at your employer. If they have an option, it's a great way to get started as far as investing goes. And if your employer offers a 401k match, that's free money, and you got to take advantage of that. We got to analyze your budget, make sure that you can make it work, and contribute as much as you can to get up to that match. So I hope that this helped. There is going to be a part 2 where I discuss individual retirement accounts and individual investment vehicles. So stay tuned for part 2. I'll see you there. Thanks.